Welcome back into the Alabama Football Report. I am Tom Downey. Today's show made possible by Prize Picks. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Some big NCAA news that impacts college football, and I would argue helps Alabama, part of some new adjustments that the NCAA is trying to make for the way it governs its players. Before we dive into all of that and why I think it helps Alabama, we're free here, and we always will be. We're trying to continue to grow everything here around the Alabama Football Report. I call it sicko season because it's late June and only the diehards are watching. If that's you and you love Alabama football, hit that sub button right now for more free videos. So there's a new eligibility rule that, as expected, has been passed by the NCAA, some of the governing bodies, we'll call it there. Essentially, players now get 5 years. It's 5 for 5. You know what it is, right? You get 5 years of eligibility within 5 years of high school graduation or an athlete's 19th birthday. It's one of those two, essentially trying to cut out the 24-year-old European guy coming to play college basketball and avoiding some chaos with JUCO year counted, didn't count. It's trying to just dial it in a little bit here. There are some exceptions, by the way. Religious missions are a factor here. So, like, looking at you, BYU and Utah. This is more for any of the female sports. Maternity leave, you're fine, right? Military service. I'm pretty sure I read one of the softball players was pregnant and throwing like no-hitters, which was absurd. Crazy to think about there. Military service, you're exempt as well. Those don't really impact Alabama. Maybe every now and then the religious mission would impact things from a football perspective. What this essentially does is red shirts are dead. We don't need red shirts anymore because you get the 5 years to play. No more, we played in 4 games and the 5th one got wonky and it didn't count. It did count. That is not an issue anymore. So here's how this impacts the athletes. If you have your eligibility completed by spring of 2026, you don't get it anymore. We'll talk about how that's an issue in a little bit. If you are currently enrolled and you still have eligibility, there is some flexibility. You can be grandfathered in. If you are graduated high school in 2026, you are sticking with the age-based model / the 5 years of eligibility. Essentially here, current college football players get to choose which outcome is best for them. They don't have to stay all 5 years if they don't want to, but they are being grandfathered in if they want to stick around for the extra 5th year, if, as we'll discuss some examples here, they weren't already eligible to get that. So do you like this new rule? Because I do. I think it is a good one. Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Do you like the NCAA's new eligibility rule? This should stick for current players. Like I don't really think there's going to be any drama over other lawsuits about you gave me an extra year because I stuck around later. Like that's not really going to be an issue, I think, for very many. There will be maybe some JUCO guys who try to fight it. You know, Diego Pavia as the example last year. There might be some drama, and in fact, I think there will be some drama with past players. Ross Dellinger tweeted this out, that attorneys Ryan Doughton and Darren Hyder say they are planning to file legal action on behalf of more than 50 basketball players seeking a 5th year in light of the NCAA's new 5-year eligibility rule. Lawsuits will be filed in 5 different states starting this week. Essentially, these basketball players, had they been eligible next year, had they been juniors instead of seniors, they'd be getting the extra year, but they're being forced out early. I don't know why the NCAA didn't just extend it and avoid this, but it's the NCAA 2A. It's always something stupid on their front there. Football-wise, a player like Cam Dewberry could try to sue to get eligibility again. Like, he played 4 years, didn't get the 5th year, didn't get the redshirt year. But also, if you're Bama, you're like, I don't know, why are you trying to bring back the 7th best offensive lineman, best case on your roster? I don't think there'll be that much buzz there. At least for Bama, like you could see Dewberry like, I want to go play at Alabama A&M or something. I think at this point he's off to the NFL. Probably not going to be an issue. The drama, as we saw this past year, is basketball focused. And I don't know, is Charles Bediako going to try to get more eligibility again? Probably not. But that's where I think you'll see some fights on this. But football-wise, as we'll discuss here more in depth in a minute, I think it's a good thing for the Crimson Tide. So before we get to that, though, today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. If you're trying to go to a Bama game this year, use SeatGeek. Save 10% off your next set of tickets by using code CHAT10. Could be a home game, like the ECU matchup. Maybe more importantly and more expensive, the FSU game. Although I don't think FSU is going to be very good this year. You can go to a road game, Kentucky, second week of the season. Whatever it is, SeatGeek has you covered, not just for football games, concerts, baseball, if you're nearby the Braves, for example. And World Cup games, too. The other football is available on SeatGeek. Whatever it is, they got you covered. Each ticket rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green is good, red is bad. And, of course, there is the code for you guys. Use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code CHAT10. Make sure you guys click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. A big thank you to SeatGeek. By the way, if you have the app, still use code CHAT10. You can plug it in and get credit as well. So there are some current players who, I'm going to use the phrase grandfathered in, which may be showing my age with that phrase. Have you heard that phrase before, AP? Okay, you have? Okay, I'm not unk yet. If they don't pass the current age limits, they are still eligible, and they'll get their full, essentially 4 years. They'll get the senior season there. So Lorcan Quinn, the kicker, he's I think he'd be 27 in his senior season. He's eligible still. It's not like, okay, this is your last year. They're not going to do him dirty. Like that one wouldn't get the 5th year of eligibility, I don't believe. Kendrick Bingley-Jones, who's, I think in year 6, and same with jah-marien, they're going to get extra time as well. So Quinn is protected here, essentially. He doesn't have to, be forced out early just because they're changing the rules once he already committed, which is why, by the way, I think the basketball players might be able to win their lawsuit, and I don't know what the NCAA was doing there. Anyway, there are several current Bama players, non-seniors, or old seniors, I should say, just seniors, who get an extra year of eligibility that they would not have had previously. Guys that essentially played 4 years but never redshirted. So Bray Hubbard is one of them. Will Bray Hubbard use that extra year? Probably not. Caleb Woodson? Maybe. Des Zulu? Maybe. The punter, Adam Watford, which I don't know if Bama knew that going in when they got him, could stick around for another year if they so choose. Hubbard had explored kind of going pro. I assume he's not going to stick around for a 5th year unless, maybe if he gets hurt, which, also, you could have gotten the medical red shirt, so it probably would have been that big of a difference anyway. Caleb Woodson's a notable one for me. He's a senior. I think his plan has been to do 1 year at Bama and head off to the NFL, but it does give additional flexibility. Like we mentioned, hey, you know what? It played better, was closer to his 2024 for him. That maybe doesn't have a full-on breakout year, but they think he's close, and Bama wants to give him more playing time, or he wants to, hypothetically, these guys could go transfer somewhere as well. Gives them more flexibility. In particular, I think Des Zulu really benefits from this because he hasn't played that much. He did, spell 5 or 6 games, I think it was, in his first year at South Carolina, which, that's not really a redshirt year. That kind of ends up negatively hurting you and limiting, how much you could have really played. So I do think that ends up being a positive for him, that he potentially gets an extra year. And if Bama loses someone like a Yanze Pierre, that Zulu can stick around for 1 more season, I think that ends up being a benefit there. So who is more likely to play in 2027 for Alabama if either of these guys stick around for an extra season? CW for Caleb Woodson, DU for Des Zulu. Also of note, the punter, Adam Watford. We'll see how good he is. Transferring in from, I think it was Northern Alabama this past year. Ideally, it's you mentioned him 1 or 2 times a game, and it's good punt by Watford, pins opposing team back deep. Punters, if I were a punter, I would stick around. Not like you're going to have the NFL bet banging down your door. If you get extra year of eligibility, maybe it actually is worthwhile there. Of course, not everybody is going to take advantage of the extra year. I think that is especially true for any top-end talent. There are some notable juniors who would be eligible for not just this year and next year, but a 3rd year. Daniel Hill, the back. I don't think Ryan Coleman-Williams is going to stick around, but he would be eligible hypothetically. Caden Jones, the linebacker. Zabin Brown kind of fits the Ryan Coleman-Williams conversation for me. Bunch of defensive backs who have played in Carmelo O'Neal played a bunch at Mercer, didn't redshirt, but has an extra year now if they so choose. Xavier Mincy, Red Morgan, Dre Kirkpatrick, maybe stands out as like the most likely to use it potentially. Those guys want to take advantage of that, even though they didn't get the redshirt year. They now essentially get that extra 5th year. So that brings us to today's Prize Picks question of the day. Is this a good rule change? G for good, B for bad. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. While you guys are answering the question, a lineup I've got set up for you guys. We've had it for a while, but again, Chris Olave, more than his receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb, more than his receiving yards. Jamar Chase, more than as well. I like the more thans for season-long ones because if they stay healthy, they blow by the projections. Like, it's just a matter of if they stay healthy or not. So the power play, got to get them all right. Could always do the flex play. Kind of covers you in the event of injury. You can get one wrong and still cash out. Take advantage of the new user offer from Prize Picks. Download the app today with the link in the comments and the description. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Again, that link's in the comments and the description of today's show. If you didn't already guess what I was going to say, I do think this is a good move for and by the NCAA. Set up some more stringent guidelines. Have it make some more sense. It's the NCAA. They'll screw it up somehow, some way, because they've just botched this entire NIL saga from the beginning. But hey, progress, right? For back to Bama here, by the way, a couple final thoughts. Bunch of other sophomores are eligible. Guys that didn't redshirt last year, but hey, have the extra year if they want to. Latsier Brooks, Derek Meadows, both tight ends, Caleb Edwards and Marshall Pritchett, Michael Carroll and Nick Brooks. Are those guys going to need it? I don't know. Defensively, London Simmons, Justin Hill, who could play a decently sized role this year. A bunch of linebackers who were core teamers, so like Duke Johnson, Luke Metz, Abdul Sanders. Those guys, don't win their job this year. They could have the extra year of flexibility to grow. Dejon Lee, who I don't think will need all 5 years, but he has the flexibility. Ivan Taylor, who drew some praise earlier this spring for Alabama. All those guys, I believe, based on how Bama lists them on their team website, by the way, would get that extra 5th year now. Just extra flexibility if they choose to need it, which I think ends up being a win and allows the guys, those freshmen, to potentially play earlier and not have to worry about having to maintain that redshirt season.